Hi folks, just learned through the New Jersey FOP that some permit to carry holders in New Jersey that have been issued permits to carry handguns with a whole list of restrictions, and I talked about this in previous videos. I've learned that some of these permit holders have been sent letters from the Superior Court stating those restrictions have been rescinded or vacated. So if you've received any of these, one of these letters, please put a comment below to let us know that this is in fact true. So a couple of the videos that I posted in recent weeks, one is New Jersey permit to carry restrictions, what to know, and the other video is gun-free zones in New Jersey and New York. I'll put links to these videos in the description. I highly recommend that you watch them if you haven't already. But basically, I've made these videos as a result of the recent US Supreme Court decision, NYSRPA versus Bruen. It's a New York gun case. It's a huge win for responsible gun owners in New York and New Jersey and other places as well. In this US Supreme Court decision, Justice Thomas stated that New York's proper cause requirement for a permit to carry applicants was unconstitutional. That prompted New Jersey's Attorney General to immediately remove New Jersey's justifiable need in the permit to carry a handgun application process. This is a huge win for responsible gun owners in New York and New Jersey and other places who want to carry loaded handguns for personal protection and protect themselves and their families in public. All right, because the justifiable need in New Jersey was the roadblock that prevented most people from getting permits to carry handguns in New Jersey. They were only issued to a very select and few people under very particular circumstances. Once the U.S. Supreme Court decision was announced, New Jersey and New York politicians, anti-gun politicians, I should say, immediately got to work creating what they call sensitive zones or sensitive areas, which really is another name for gun-free zone. They call it a sensitive area, and they say, well, we're going to create a list of these sensitive areas that you can't carry a firearm or weapon unless you're a police officer. Justice Thomas, and if you read the NYSRPA Bruen versus Bruen decision, it's a long decision, but he put right in there, New York can't just restrict gun carry in all of Manhattan, for example, because he knew what they were going to do. And of course, the anti-gun politicians immediately started with, well, we're going to create these sensitive areas. Times Square is a sensitive area, subways, sensitive area, parks, schools, all these areas in public where you would want to carry a firearm to protect yourself. You know, all the places where you could get mugged, shot, stabbed, assaulted, all the places where responsible gun owners would want to carry. What the anti-gun politicians have said is that, all right, U.S. Supreme Court, if you're going to force our hand, if you're going to force us to issue these permits to carry, you know, if we have to enforce the Second Amendment, if we have to allow people to exercise that right, then I guess we're going to have to try to go around the Second Amendment, go around the U.S. Constitution, and we're going to decide to create these sensitive areas where you can't carry a firearm unless you're a police officer. So some Superior Court judges already in New Jersey, and I've heard this and I've seen copies, redacted copies of permits to carry that have been issued. There's a whole list of restrictions. And in New Jersey, when a civilian permit to carry is issued, it's issued by a Superior Court judge and it is an order from the judge. So the judge can put whatever he or she wants to on that order. So far, these permits to carry have been issued with multiple restrictions. One of the most absurd restrictions that I read on a permit to carry was the person's vehicle, the permit holder's vehicle. So essentially the judge said, this permit to carry is invalid, and here's a list of the places it's invalid. And one of those places was the person's own vehicle. I don't think these restrictions are going to hold, and I said this in previous videos. So what the courts have decided is that we're going to leave, finally someone made a good decision and decided, you know what, maybe the judges shouldn't be legislating from the bench. Maybe they shouldn't be deciding for themselves what restrictions to put on these permits to carry based off of what the anti-gun politicians want. Letters were sent out, and again, if you receive one of these letters, please put it in the comments below so everyone knows. Letters were supposedly sent out saying that any restriction put on your permit to carry has been vacated. Now, there has been a bill introduced in New Jersey, and that's probably what prompted the courts to send out these letters. And it's Bill A 4769, which is the Concealed Carry Restriction Bill. The bill revises certain restrictions or requirements for the firearms purchaser ID for a permit to purchase a handgun, and it also codifies the sensitive areas that the anti-gun politicians have been talking about since this NYSRPA versus Bruen US Supreme Court decision. So they list in this bill, and it's been revised, I think, already once or twice. They have a list of 25 or so sensitive areas where firearms or weapons are prohibited. Some of these places include beaches, parks, schools, bars. Now, houses of worship were included in the initial bill, I'm told, but that's since been removed, so that's not part of it. But we will see. Now, we're talking about New Jersey here, and typically New Jersey is against responsible gun owners historically. So I think that if this bill reaches Governor Murphy's desk, he will sign it. However, I do not think that this bill, or if it becomes law, I do not think that it will hold up to legal challenges in court. And I'll tell you why. So I've read a lot about the Second Amendment, the history of it, and cases surrounding the Second Amendment. So historically, when it's challenged, the courts go back and they say, well, what's the precedence here? What historically has held? And, you know, what's been the practice in the past? So there were basically 4 places that historically the U.S. Supreme Court has allowed or said, yes, states, if you want to, you don't have to. If you want to restrict carry in these places, you can. The first place was government courthouses. Now, I've mentioned this in the past in my previous videos that I don't think you should carry in courthouses because whether you're a victim, whether you're an accused, usually when you're in court, you're one of the two, and lives are being changed. Some people are going to jail. Some people that should be going to jail are not going to jail. So you have bailiffs, you have security in the court that they're there to protect you. So you don't need to carry in courthouses, and I don't think you should carry in courthouses. Second place is legislative chambers, where the lawmakers make the laws. Third place is polling places where you go and you vote. The fourth place are schools, and historically, if you go back and read history, it goes back to our founding, University of Virginia. In Virginia, the students were banned from carrying firearms. Not the teachers, not the other staff, adults at the school. The students were banned, not teachers. So historically, these are the 4 places. Now, the anti-gun politicians are adding all these new places to fit their needs. So they want to basically make every place in public a place where you can't carry. All the anti-gun politicians are basically saying, we don't agree with the U.S. Supreme Court decision, NYSRPA versus Bruen. We don't think anyone should be able to carry a gun. And we are going to create all these sensitive zones or sensitive areas, which are really gun-free zones, because we're going to make it virtually impossible for you to carry a handgun. And I also think part of it is fear. They want to put the fear in you that, geez, what if I wander into one of these gun-free zones and I don't know it, I'm carrying a gun, and I'm arrested and charged? That's part of it, I believe. It's fear. So you'll just say, well, you know what? It's too confusing. I don't want to have to figure out, I can carry here, I can't carry here. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to secure my weapon. I can't go beyond this point. You're just going to not carry your handgun. You're going to leave it at home. You're going to leave it in your safe. And you're going to say, you know what? It's not worth the risk. And that's what they want you to think. It's not worth the risk, so don't even bother carrying. That's their agenda, folks. I think these will ultimately fail. These sensitive areas, which we all know are, it's another name for gun-free zone. Let's call it what it is. It's a gun-free zone. That's what the anti-gun politicians want. So this bill in New Jersey has already been revised once or twice. And I know that the language initially was vague. And again, it's New Jersey. So I believe that it will be signed by Governor Murphy if it makes it to his desk. And I don't think it's going to hold up to legal challenges in court. But we will see. We will see what happens. But I think this is a positive step for legal gun owners, especially legal gun owners that have been issued permits to carry by the courts in New Jersey. It's a positive step that they've realized that it was an overreach for the Superior Court judges to take it upon themselves to just decide, you know what, here's where I think you shouldn't be able to carry a firearm. Has nothing to do with the law, just in my opinion, it's the judge saying, well, you know what, we really don't agree with this U.S. Supreme Court decision, so we're just going to make our own rules, and we're just going to say, yeah, here it is, we'll issue it to you, but it's got restrictions. So I don't think it's going to hold up, and this letter that's gone out supposedly to current permit to carry holders that have restrictions, this letter supposedly went out saying the restrictions are vacated or rescinded. And again, I know in their minds it's pending the passage of this bill. So we will see what happens, but I think it's a positive step for responsible gun owners. I'll try to keep everyone updated in a timely manner as I receive information, so please subscribe if you're not subscribed already to the channel. And if you like the video, please share it. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay safe.